Hello everyone, this is Samantha from the Dancing Soap Dish. I hope you are well. I'm really excited to show you my latest creation, these fireworks soap bars. Aren't they fantastic? They're just so bright and shiny. I love them. So it is a 2-layered soap. It's a layer of clear with the fireworks painted on the back of the clear, and then a layer of black after that. Oh, look at that. You can, if you hold it up to the light, you can actually see the fireworks through the black. How cool is that? These were a labor of love. I've been wanting to do something like this for quite a while, but I've just had trouble finding the right materials. But I got very lucky and I found some really cool stamps. And I was able to make these with some stamps. And that's why that makes this project June's edition of the 2024 Stamped Soap Challenge that I'm doing. For those of you who aren't aware, I'm challenged myself this year to come up with a new and exciting project every single month that involves stamped soap. Here is a quick look at all the Stamped Soap Challenge projects I've done so far this year. You can find tutorials for all these in the Stamped Soap playlist on this YouTube channel. Alright, so now it's time for me to show you the stamps that I used for this project. I have a sheet here of fireworks stamps that I found online. These are clear acrylic stamps. Some of them are quite large, too big for a single bar of soap. The stamps come between 2 sheets of acetate, so I'll just peel this one back and show you these. So these are clear silicone stamps used for like scrapbooking and card making and stuff. And here I have a large loaf mold, which, if my calculations are correct, I should be able to stick these silicone stamps, these fireworks stamps, into the bottom of this mold and just create a fireworks pattern all the way along, which I can then use to make fireworks soap from. So it's a pretty snug fit. That just fits. The bottom is touching the edge and the top is touching the edge, but it fits. I'm pressing it down. It actually fits quite well. I'm really excited about that. Looks really good. Here's the second largest stamp, which I'm hoping will also fit. I'll probably put this right at the other end. There we go. Yep, that fits snugly too. I'll just push that down. And I'll use the stamps that I have left, these smaller stamps, to fill in this gap in the middle. Okay, so I've finished now. I did skip ahead because that took me a little while just to make sure I was happy with the design. But here we go. This is what I've come up with. So I've got the 2 large stamps in each of the corners, and then I've filled in the gap in the middle. So the next step is to pour a layer of clear over these fireworks stamps. So I'm weighing out 6 ounces of ultra clear melt and pour soap base. I'm going to melt it slowly and carefully in the microwave so as not to overheat it and create any bubbles in it. Just giving it a stir there just to make sure that last little bit is melted. I have some isopropyl alcohol on hand, which I've just sprayed the soap there just to get rid of some surface bubbles, and I'm just giving it one final stir to make sure that it is fully melted. Okay, so before I pour, I'm going to spray all the stamps in the bottom of the mold with the alcohol and just pour the clear very gently over it. This is to make sure that I don't get any bubbles stuck between the soap and the surface of the stamps. But as you can see, that's a pretty easy step right there. One last spray with the isopropyl alcohol just to get rid of any surface bubbles and make sure that that soap is flowing all the way to the edge of the mold. Once that is fully set and cooled, you can take it out of the mold. The easiest way to do that is to just sort of separate the mold from the sides of the soap, break the seal that it has there, and then turn your mold over and very lightly press on the back. And as you can see there, you can actually see where the soap is coming away from the silicone mold. And once all of that has come away, your little slab should just fall to the bottom, which it has. And there we go. So I have a slab of clear melt and pour soap with these fireworks stamps stuck in it. So you can't really see much at this stage. You can sort of tell that there's some stamps in there. The next step, obviously, is to remove the stamps. I'm just placing it on this piece of baking paper here just to protect the bottom of the soap, because that will actually end up being the top of my soap bars, so I don't want it to get scuffed or smudged. And what I have here is a bamboo skewer. You could use a toothpick as well, and I'm going to use the skewer just to press on the back of the stamps. I'm not pressing between the stamps and the soap because that could gouge the soap, but if you just sort of give the back of the stamp a bit of a nudge, you'll break the seal that the stamp has with the soap, and then you'll be able to just easily pick it up and peel it away. Just like that. There we go. I can use that stamp rather. I can use that stamp again for something else. Here is the next little one. This is actually quite therapeutic actually, all this poking with the skewer, and these things just lift away so easily. It's actually a lot of fun. If you have any little bits of overlap where soap has gotten underneath the stamp, just make sure that you peel those away as well so they don't get in your way. And very easily I'm able to remove all of these stamps from the surface of the soap. And that will leave me with a slab of clear soap that has been embossed with these beautiful fireworks prints. Let's have a look. I'll turn it around. So this is what it looks like. If I hold it up to the light, you can see the fireworks there. I'm also going to turn it over because, like I said, this side is going to be the front of the soap. And if you have a look here, you can see very easily where that soap is embossed with all the beautiful fireworks stamps there. It's really a great design. I'm loving it. This looks fantastic. All right, I'll turn that over because it's ready to paint now. Okay, so I'm getting ready to paint. I have a fine paintbrush here. I have some isopropyl alcohol and a range of different micas. I actually have two golds. This one here is sort of a subtle muted gold, and then a very shiny glossy gold, and also some other colors that I have seen used in fireworks. So obviously reds, oranges, but you can get green fireworks, and you can very rarely also get some blue colors as well. So I'm just mixing these up. I haven't measured anything. I just put a little blob of each mica into my paint palette, and I'm using an eyedropper here just to drop the alcohol in. Like I said, I'm not measuring anything, but the mica paint does need to be quite fluid. It can't be too thick. It needs to be quite runny. So now that I'm happy with the consistency of my paint, I'm going to start just adding the mica to the design. I want the paint to go on sort of thick enough to fully fill up the grooves that have been created by the stamps. I'm going to start off with my muted gold, which I will sort of add to the center of the fireworks and a couple of other places. I did actually look at some pictures of fireworks on Pinterest just to sort of remind myself of the coloring and how they look, how they explode and stuff like that. So I found that was helpful when I was sitting here trying to pick colors for the fireworks that I'm doing. This one's going to be red and also a little bit of blue. I saw a picture online of sort of like a blue firework that had red tips. So that's what I'm going for there. And this is a lot of fun. Again, this was quite therapeutic as well, just sitting here painting, filling in all the dots. You don't have to worry about being too precious about staying in the lines because we can fix that later. But what you definitely need to be looking out for is just making sure that all the grooves are filled fully with the mica paint, that the mica paint is not too thin in certain sections. It's probably a good idea. Normally when I paint like this, I do 2 coats. I find what's best is to let the first coat dry fully, and then you'll be able to see where the areas are where there's not enough mica, where the paint's a bit thin, and then you can go over that with a second coat. One thing to remember though, no matter how it looks on the side that you're painting here, it actually matters which color went down first. You know, you can add mica to this and blend and make it as pretty as your heart's content, but then you'll turn it over and realize that it was the colors that went down first that you can see. So take that into account. All right, so this is after 2 coats. There's a lot of gold here because I basically just did the second coat in gold. But if you look on the other side, I've still got those original colors that I put down. The other side looks much different. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use a dry, clean cloth. This one is straight out of the packet. And I'm going to use it to buff off all the mica that isn't sitting in a groove. So obviously it's impossible to stay in the lines when you're painting with the mica, and that's fine, because then what you can do is you can take your dry cloth and you can buff off all the areas that shouldn't have any mica on them. Now this will bring out the shape of the fireworks much better. You'll have clearer fireworks. You can sort of see it starting to clear up as I keep rubbing. Also, it's a good idea to get a skewer and just make sure all the sort of grooves around the stamp edges are clear of mica as well, or else that will show up in your finished piece. And you don't want all these beautiful fireworks and then you'll be able to see the lines of the stamps that went around the fireworks. That's not a great look. So you can use a skewer just to clean up those edges. I've done a lot of work here, but here's a little tip. Once you think you've got them all, actually turn your soap slab around the other way and you'll see all these bits you missed. And then you can keep going and make sure that you got all of those as well. Okay, I am happy with this. So this slab is going back into the soap mold the opposite way. So this time I've got the design facing upwards. Make sure that that slab is pushed all the way to the bottom. You don't want it to be crooked and you don't want any large gaps underneath. So I'm pushing it down. I'm trying to avoid the mica areas, but it should be dry by now and not sticking to my fingers. Okay, so for the next step, I'm going to do the second layer. The mica does need to be completely dry before you start the second layer, or else it will smudge. So I'm just using the same soap jug that I used before because that just had clear soap in it, and that's fine. I'm weighing out another 6 ounces of soap for my second layer. This one, I haven't been so careful with the melting. I actually want this to be quite a hot layer. I'm not going to use any alcohol to adhere my layers together, so this needs to be quite a hot layer in order to stick. I've added some fragrance oil and now I'm starting to color it. I've just added a blue liquid pigment, not a liquid dye, so it's not going to bleed. And I'm also adding some black, just basically to come up with a really dark blue midnighty color. I mean, when it's thick, it's going to look black. But if you look at it thinly, you can see there it does have a tinge of blue, which I think is a great color for the night sky. All right, so I'm just making sure that that is mixed up thoroughly. I'm trying not to take too long because I don't want this soap to cool too much before I pour it. And you know what? I've just realized I didn't have my light on. Sorry for that big shadow that was sitting there over half my work. There we go. That's better. I'm just scraping off some of, there's a little bit of overcooked soap that's sitting on the surface here. So I'm just scraping it out of the way. There we go. So I don't pour it in. Okay, now I'm not spraying alcohol, but I am using these spoons. I'm just using 2 so that I've got a larger surface area. I couldn't find a bigger spoon. I'm going to pour the soap onto the spoons and then down the side of the soap mold. I don't want to pour the soap directly onto the design because the soap is very hot, and if it stays in one place for too long, the heat can cause the mica to smudge, which I really don't want. So I'm doing my best to sort of keep the soap moving so it doesn't pour in the same spot for too long, and also pouring it onto the spoons first to make sure that that really hot soap doesn't hit the surface of my mica and disturb it. Okay, I'm spraying with isopropyl alcohol to get rid of any surface bubbles. And I don't know if you can see, but there's a little bit of a streak of just overcooked soap sitting on the top there. I'm just going to let it set for a bit, and then what I should be able to do is just scrape it off. See, that part always skins first, which is really great because as it skins together, you can actually just scrape the skin off. And as you can see there, now I have a much clearer and smoother surface to the back of my soap. There we go. All right, now I'm going to let that set. Okay, my soap is completely set and cooled, so it's time to remove it from the mold a second time. I'm going to do what I did before, just ease the edges away from the soap. However, the bottom layer isn't actually stuck as it was before, so it's just going to need a little bit of pushing, a little bit of sort of help to ease out to the bottom. There we go. Ta-da! Look at that. That is amazing. Oh, I'm loving that. Look at that soap. It has fireworks in it. Oh, they're so beautiful. Really, really love it. That is fantastic. Wow. What do you guys think? Oh, look, I have a smudge. See here, there's a little black spot here, obviously, where the mica has come away. Obviously, I poured it too hot in that position, or maybe it got splashed with something that made it wet and the mica came away. So that's what I was talking about. Thankfully, because they're fireworks, it's not super noticeable. I think I'll be able to get away with that. But just look at this. Look at these colors. This is fantastic. And the fireworks are so clear and so beautiful. And with the black, or the really dark bluey black behind them, they look just like fireworks in the night sky. I'm really loving it. I really didn't think it'd come out that good. I'm super impressed. I've impressed myself. All right, now I'm going to cut these babies up. So I want to make 4 bars here. This slab is 25 centimeters long. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut off some of the edge bits because I don't want too much black down one edge of my soap. I think that might make the soap bar look a little bit uneven. So I'm cutting off 1/2 centimeter on each edge, and then I'm making each soap bar 6 centimeters wide, which comes to 24 centimeters, and then with the 2 halves, that's 25 centimeters. So what I've done is I've measured it out with a ruler, and I've actually scored the surface of the soap with my bamboo skewer. And then I can put my soap cutter along that score and very easily and neatly just cut my soap to the perfect size. All right, here we go. 4 soap bars. Now they look a little bit different now because they're all cut up. But I think I've got a really nice even design on each of them of some fireworks. I think they're looking pretty good. I'm using my acrylic beveler here to bevel off all the edges just because I've done some cutting and also because there was some uneven edges that were stuck to the edge of the mold. So there we go. I will do the back of these too, but just for the moment, I'm just going to do the front just so I can show you them looking all nice and pretty. Very easy to just bevel these off here and you get a nice even bevel, which I love. All right, look at these. So beautiful. I'm actually giving them a spray with isopropyl alcohol because I want to show you what they look like when they're wet. So when you're in the bath or the shower and they get wet, that's what they're going to look like. And it actually makes the clear layer go even more clear, and you can see the beautiful fireworks shining and glistening through the clear layer of soap. Look at that. That is fantastic. I love it. Amazing. And there's the final one there. Even with that little hole, it still looks pretty damn good, I think. These are fantastic, guys. And how easy was that? I mean, yes, that was a little bit time consuming, but so much fun, especially if you love painting. That was so much fun painting all of those. But a very simple project. Just layer your stamps, layer of clear over the top, paint it, then a layer of black, boom, cut them up, they're done. Amazing. I really, really love these. These are so fantastic. Well, thank you all for tuning in today. If you love what I do, please like and subscribe and drop me a comment if you can. Don't forget to check out all the other tutorials in the stamped soap challenge that I've done so far this year. I'm halfway through, so I've got another 6 to go, which is pretty exciting. Thanks again for all your support. Enjoy!